What about the mower?
That was good.
And you got fixed or what?
Oh yeah, got fixed.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought. Oh yeah, you did it. You fixed it.
Yeah, I fixed it.
I'm sorry.
Wasn't even an issue.
Has anybody
No,
ever pictured Jason as a Secret Service agent? Because I have. I just was wondering if anybody else has.
Like, that's like very like specific.
No, yeah.
I like to think of Jason like in a tuxedo T-shirt on a motorcycle.
We like to picture you doing
Stop
things.
picturing me.
You're a tourist?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm a tourist, man. I didn't know that about you.
Are you a diehard tourist like him though? He's got a tat on his back.
No, I've never went that far with it. You know,
Then you're not a real tourist.
honestly, dude, it never even occurred to me
You're
to do
a
that.
tourist
Yeah,
poser.
yeah, I've never felt that serious about it.
You offend the other tourists.
So you're pretty serious about your touristness.
Yeah,
What's it mean to be a tourist to you? What does that mean?
you gotta be some stubborn like a bull, you know?
You're stubborn like a bull.
So you just got the bull? Or
Huh?
does it say tourist?
It says tourist,
Okay.
and it's got the sign on the bottom.
Nice.
You haven't seen it?
No, I don't know.
Right, let's see
Let's
this.
see this warlock. Okay, yeah, he's a tourist, all right.
Good one.
What does it say on top? Gone?
It's really
My last
cool.
name.
I don't read Old English very well.
I'm a tourist too.
No, you're
As long
not.
as your knuckle tattoos and
Mine?
yeah.
Trailer
Dude.
park trash.
Yeah, the tattoo artist say, yeah.
What is that?
White
What font is
boy carny circus.
Really
font.
cool.
I had this font picked out, and like you put it on my knuckles, and it looked terrible. Like,
that? Right.
and he was like, I said, man, it looks so bad. And he goes, yeah, you got long, skinny alien fingers, man. And he's like, you can't use font like that. So he just come up with his own custom font, and like, it fits. So I was like, man, that looks sick. He's like, all right, what are we doing today? And I tell him, he's like, you're gonna get your knuckles inked. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, is that a problem? He's like, no, I'll ruin your life, bro. Step right up. He goes, what are you getting on it? And I was like, Oklahoma. And he's like, this just keeps getting better and better.
I was like, no, really.
He's like,
Yeah.
seriously, I'll give you a neck.
I had to promise my wife, she made me promise her I would never get a neck tattoo.
What about a face tattoo?
No.
I'm wanting to go all the way around my neck.
Are you?
Yeah.
That'd be what's
You
up.
go.
I was always told you should get one in like a place where like not everybody's gonna see it
Yeah.
at first because you want to make sure that you're gonna like have a tattoo or whatever. I was like, nah, I'll put it right there.
Would you explain the
Show off.
tattoo and remind us of the verse?
The verse doesn't really actually go with the tattoo. It's more about being crucified with Christ. But the verse is, you, my brothers, have been called to be free, but do not use that freedom to indulge a sinful nature, but rather serve one another in love.
Amen.
Hey, welcome to the Reckless House. It's kind of like a Cribs episode here. I'm gonna just step out into the kitchen. I'm gonna say hi to Willie here.
This is the office, in case you all are wondering. J-Man's working. It's Vinny's desk, Ross' desk.
This is our newest entry to the program here, Willie. Hi, Willie. Say hi. We're the best of friends. Thank you. And it's a German Shepherd slash wolf.
Oh, nice.
Good time. Oh my gosh, your claws are sharp. I do want to show you my room. You know, I go a day knowing that I just need to fall in bed at the end of the night and sleep. It's like, I don't need a room for any other purpose than to go to sleep. If I had it my way, I'd be outside all day. Either playing golf, playing basketball, hanging out with people. And that's what life is about.
Right?
So, just need a shelter.
Would they say even Christ didn't have a place to lay his head?
They did say that. Essentially, you gotta lay your head somewhere to sleep.
At the end
But
of the
like,
day.
maybe he just didn't have like a home until he returned home to his real home.
Right, we all know that's at.
Yeah. Can't go in our fellow mates' rooms out of respect. It's just, but there's more rooms. Bathroom, you know what bathrooms look like? TV room?
Used to be a television there?
Yeah. We just have everybody come in here and then we like act out, scenes from shows, and it's way better.
Charades?
Yeah, see Willie's doing it now. What am I? You're a dog. We can do the interview right here.
Yeah.
So Vinny gave me his questions, so I'm just gonna read them and then answer. First question is, why work at Reckless? It looks like you answered it for me. It said, you're a great video editor. I'm a great video editor.
Well, those are things I was going to bring up. Like,
Oh, okay.
why would you work at Reckless? You're a great video editor. I mean, you have an opportunity to do other things.
See, I didn't know that until I started working for Reckless. And so that's the beauty of it. There's one thing that Jordan has always said about nurturing people's talents. And it's one of the most difficult things to do because, and from my side looking at it, it's like, you may know you have a great talent, but you may not have the vehicle or capacity to express your talent, and you need somebody pushing you and encouraging you to do something with it within the realm that you're in. And I feel like Jordan has helped me to find a place to find what that talent is specifically, and we're still, we're finding out what people are good at. What kind of jobs would they be good at in leadership roles? And so I think that's very important for all of us. And but why work for Reckless? How I got here was a story within itself. I was working at a golf course, and nobody else knew, but I was buying meth, and
Had good deals, huh? First one's always free.
it was free, and he offered me some. I knew what it was. I knew it was wrong. And I don't know kind of where I was at mentally at the time. It was like I wanted to experience what meth was like. And backtrack a little bit, I was also on Adderall at the time as well, taking 2 20 milligram Adderalls, and then I started buying meth, and it lasted about 3 months. So I'm taking 2 20 milligrams a day, and then snorting meth and smoking meth on top of that. And one thing I found out is that no matter how much you do, it is never enough, and it's endless. And that was something I quickly found out, is that you can never do enough drugs to
Chase that dragon.
Yeah. And I knew when I first started buying it that like it wasn't going to be an ongoing thing, and I was going to stop eventually. And then I quickly found out though how potent it is, and it turned into if you can stop. And so when I was ready to be done with it though, that week, basically I didn't buy it all week, and then I was going to a church on Monday nights in Tulsa, and the night before that service I had sent a text out to try and get some more meth, and luckily nobody responded. And I went to the service the next day, and it happened to be about drug use and the way culture views drugs and how it's infiltrated the system. And it was a very convicting message. I was sitting in there having that feeling that, probably a lot of other people in the room too felt like that message was directly for them. And that's just the way God works, and he puts people in a place for a reason. And by the end of the service, I knew I needed to talk to somebody and bring it to light, or else, nobody knew, and then I would have sent another text out or something. So, and it was funny though, because I grew up with the pastor that was speaking, and I didn't necessarily want to talk to him because it was very personal, and I didn't know how he would respond. He ended up being the only one that was free and able to talk, so I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him. And started chatting, was very open with him, and I referred to meth as ice, and he literally didn't even know what that meant. And I was like,
He said, you got an ice problem? Like, your ice machine makes too much ice or not enough?
And I was like, man, I could go that direction and just say, yeah, it's just regular ice cubes I have trouble with, but I decided to say
sensitive
no.
teeth.
Yeah. I was like, no, I gotta tell him fully ice is meth, and I broke it down for him, and I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. The main thing was I wanted to be done with it, and I needed guidance, and what I realized though is like I needed somebody that I could express that to, and to free myself in that realm of like exposing something that I didn't want anymore. Tough to do sometimes too, because it has to be somebody that's gonna handle your information well, and that's gonna show the love of Christ in that moment. Because if I said it to him and he would have if he were to judge me and to be telling me, you know, what's right and what's wrong, is like, you shouldn't have been doing that stuff. Like, that's the opposite. And all this guy did is he loved me in the moment of me confessing something, and he was nothing but supportive to me, and he gave me numbers of people to reach out to. But the biggest thing he said was, I wanted you to come back next Monday, and I want to hear the good news. He wanted to hear me say, bro, I had a victory this week. I stayed away from it. I didn't go and seek it out, and I didn't, know how the week would go, but I was putting my trust in God, and that was a good experience. But so I knew it was going to happen, though. And so that week came along, the guy comes up that I was getting the meth from, and full bore, full charge. And the one thing I knew this time, though, was like, I wasn't getting anything for free. It was like I had to make a choice. That was the feeling. Like the Spirit was telling me, it's like, this is the moment. It's like, are you gonna, just memories of talking to that pastor, though, flooded my mind when I was in that position. Everything in me was like, I want to make good of this. I want to have a good news report and go back Monday and tell him I did it. And I didn't want to let him down and myself down in the same time, and not be able to face him. And so I got through that. That was a victory. But then COVID happened, and everything shut down, church shut down, and so I wasn't going to see him. But then I was downtown one night talking to a homeless guy, and I was just sharing my heart, and he was sharing his heart. And two guys ride by on a motorcycle, and I didn't know who they were. And then they went around the block and came back through, and it ended up being the pastor and his son riding their motorcycle that I needed to see, and I needed to tell him the good news. He took his helmet off, and I was like, dude, there you are. This is so, like, it was one of those moments that was like meant to be. And I was able to tell him I had success. And so that really sparked everything. And literally how I got in contact with Jordan after that is my mom lives down the street. I was staying with her, and I would walk past the Reckless house all the time. And I met Jordan like 3 years ago. One day I came in and he was here, and we met, chatted, and when I walked out, I was just like, dude, that was an interview. Like, that felt like it was an interview for a job, and I felt like I nailed it. But the reason I felt like I nailed it was because we shared such a connection with the heart and passion for people and what we wanted to do in life. And Jordan and what God's led him to create had that vehicle for me to be a part of, and we were just pumped up. And honestly, like, what I told him is, like, it's so hard to find truth in this world. And that was one thing I thought about, like, just the brief times I met Jordan, there's one thing I knew, is that he is on fire for truth and for exposing the lies of this world and the dysfunction that we've created within the system. And that's the main thing I had in common. It's just like, I wanted to work with this guy and help him out however I could, because I didn't plan on coming in and getting a job or nothing. I just came in with the testimony of getting off meth, and then I wanted to help. I ended up signing on the next day and living in the house, and it's been amazing. Like, it's been exactly what I was wanting. I did want to mention one thing, though. Once I joined, I was still on Adderall, which is doctor prescribed for ADHD. Jordan knew that, and he said that's your own kind of thing. It's like, if that's something that you need and the doctor's saying it. I just kept feeling this tug with the Adderall and like the chemicals involved in the Adderall and how it affects you, because essentially it's meth.
Yeah.
And so it took a few weeks and a couple of tries to get off of that, but that was like the biggest victory in my mind, because I never saw myself living life without Adderall, and I just couldn't fathom it. It was the scariest thing in the world to think about, and it was something that I thought that I needed. That, but like when you involve God, it's like, what are you saying to God whenever you're holding on to something like that? It's like, And it was tough. Like when I got off the Adderall, I had nightmares, like of just like, it was almost like entities saying like, give us this drug back, and it was my body probably in shock in a way. And so that was a praise report for sure, because it was at least 8 solid years of being on Adderall, or essentially meth, and just that cycle of what it does to your brain. And the biggest relief I have is from anxiety. The way that medication like that gets you amped up and not in the present moment. Like I was constantly worrying and thinking about things in the future that hadn't happened yet, and so it was a big relief.
What would you say it is that Reckless really does?
I would say they're an advocate for the addicted. There's just the stigma of the addicted. They're viewed in a way that is not productive to their recovery, and so I totally am sold on the belief of trying to change the way the world looks at addiction. There's just always so many judgments made that uphold people's addictions, and when it needs to be viewed as something that, like, there's reasons why people are running to this stuff, and a lot of times it has to do with family members. You know, essentially the addict is responsible for themselves and their choices and decisions, but a lot of times they got into it so early that they still play this victim card, and nobody instilled anything in them in how to deal with real life problems. And so like when you're caught in the drugs though, it's like you can never see outside of that and see a place where you can take responsibility for that until somebody treats you different in a way that they're not judging you and they totally accept you within your addicted state. I mean, what Reckless tries to do is definitely changing the way people view addiction and showing love to the addicts when nobody else is showing them true brotherhood and love, and showing them family,
Compassion, camaraderie.
Yeah, all that. I'm all about that. I've seen it in my own personal life, and I've seen it, how it works when you're showing love to somebody in that place. Dude, they light up. It changes people. It changes their hearts, and it makes them realize that, you know, everybody goes through stuff like that, and they don't need to judge themselves for it. Because, like, yeah, there's a final day of judgment from the Lord Almighty, but like even God himself in the moment of our life, he's not necessarily judging us. Like, what we're not thinking of is like, we're still living life. We still have the opportunity to do good. You know, essentially we judge ourselves and we think that God is judging us, and he's not. It's like, there will be a day for sure, but he's not judging us in the moment while we're in it. And that, I think that's important, because there's no way of getting out of it if we're constantly thinking that it's done or it's over. We've already made the mistakes and there's no coming out of it. And that's what a lot of people try to make us believe about ourselves, and it's not true.
This next question is, what was life like before Reckless?
Restless pursuit of self, and
Right.
And not knowing what to do outside of that, because you're not involving people and you're not getting in a team that has goals outside of themselves, and that's a real trap that I found myself in. It's a very lonely life where you just don't know how to have relationship with people because you don't care. It's like, how could you be real with somebody when you literally don't care about their situation at all, and you're just thinking about your next fix? The freedom of self, for sure, like Dustin put it, there's more that God has for us if we're willing to take the steps to involve ourselves and dive in, not knowing where he's going to place you, what you're supposed to do, and doing it afraid. I mean, doing it with all that uncertainty, and just but the only way it works is if you have people above you, like like Jordan and the team around you that is on board with that view of things as well. They want the best for you, and it's powerful when you get in a group of guys that cares about each other and has the same heart towards helping others. I mean, that's what life is all about.
Right. What is anything you'd like to say to the people that may be watching this at this moment? Is there anything that comes to mind you'd just like to share?
If you can find something you're passionate about and pray to the Lord Almighty and ask Him to lead you to the people that you need to be around to fulfill the passion that you have. And for me, like, I don't see any other passion outside of doing something with and for people, and because people are all we have. And so once you get a taste of that within a company that is what they are, and that's their mission and that's their goal, that's when it feels like it's not work. It takes on this amazing fulfillment throughout a day of, like, you're doing something that is going to have an impact on the eternal life of somebody else, and you see it daily. I do believe in people being prophetic just within their own conversations. You never know what somebody's going to speak to you when you pray those prayers and you expect God to move in your life. I would say that seek God, you will find. He will show up in your life, and it's amazing. You'll see it more and more, and that just builds my faith. So.
Brock, thank you so much for your time, brother, and thank you so much for being a part of this team. You're more valuable than you will ever know, and man, I'm truly glad to call you friend.
Oh, dude, me too.
Yeah.
Same here. Namaste.
Shalom.
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 Shalom. Thank you.
Rock and roll.
Yesterday I went for a walk
Yeah.
in the park. Nobody
Traditionally,
said
you're
hi
a
to
finder,
me.
for sure. Like,
Oh,
I think you're heavy on your
what a
estimation now.
sad,
Like,
sad day.
I think it's like 10% normally, but
It sounds like the guy that does like the Toy Story songs, you know? Like, I've got a friend and you.
hey, fantastic.
You got a friend and me.
I love that, man.
That is good.